At the Game Awards, Naughty Dog unveiled the first trailer for their new upcoming game, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, and so far the reaction to it hasn't been that good, and I will get more on that in a moment, but first let's look at this article from IGN that's telling us what we know about the game so far. Naughty Dog heads to space with Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, the Game Awards 2024, revealing during the Game Awards 2024 with a debut trailer. Below, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet is directed by Naughty Dog chief Neil Druckmann and features a new original score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. All right, that's kind of cool. It's Naughty Dog's first new franchise in over a decade and is currently in development for the PlayStation 5 new release window. Oh, no release window was mentioned. Man, I can't read. In a post on the PlayStation blog, Druckmann revealed that Naughty Dog has been working on Intergalactic since 2020. Keep that in mind because it's very important. And confirmed the main character is played by Tati Gabrielle, Joe Braddock in the 2022 Uncharted movie. Then there's just kind of the actual post that he made below, going into some of the information that they had behind the scenes about the game. That's not really what I'm most interested in. I'm most interested in the reaction to this. Like I said, 2020 is an important takeaway from this. But just looking at the actual trailer itself, you can see on the official Naughty Dog YouTube page, this is the trailer, and the like to dislike ratio is not very positive for it. And you can also notice that they turned off the comments immediately. It's almost as if they were expecting the reaction to it to be pretty negative. You would think when they're unveiling a new trailer like this at the Game Awards of all places that they would be wanting people to talk about it and generate some type of buzz, but apparently that's not the case when it comes to this game. Fortunately, however, PlayStation also uploaded the trailer to their official YouTube page. This is also ratioed, and they left the comments onto this, and going by the comments, it's pretty much negative. I'm not going to dive into it too much right now. First, let's just check out the trailer. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, just kind of do a play-by-play, give you my reaction to it, and then wrap it all up at the end of this, what I think this means. But at first, when I saw it, I thought this was kind of interesting right here. This quote, whatever, ancient Sumerian scripture, 1986. So it's like, okay, 1986, that's ancient times for them. So this is clearly futuristic. You have this shot in space. I think it's kind of cool. It pulls out from this moon here, or this destroyed moon. That's interesting visuals. And you see a spaceship. And then I notice this Porsche written on the back of it. I don't mind product placement or anything like that because I understand you got to pay the bills. Sometimes it helps flesh out the world when you have actual products, because then it doesn't feel like it's so disconnected because there's something that you can identify with. But still, I mean, I think this is a little blatant when you have something like that in there. It's not necessarily, it doesn't feel like product placement to help make it feel like it's an organic world, but more product placement because they had to pay the bills. That's why they literally have Porsche right at the front of their trailer, center of the screen on their spaceships here. Okay, so you have this anime on the screen. All right, this is just some characterization. The person likes anime. But this is what people, when they first saw this, my reaction to it was like, oh no, what are they doing here? You got this female character shaving her head bald. Clearly she looks masculine because this is a trend with games now. A lot of studios are trying to make women more masculine. When it comes to Naughty Dog under Neil Druckmann, you could tell that this seems to be his type because all the women in his games seem to have this type of look to them. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's just his type and that's what he prefers. And if that's the case, you can do what you want. But gamers we've seen the last couple of years have rejected this. They want masculine looking men, feminine looking women, and those are the games that seem to do a lot better than what they're trying to do with pushing this identity politics sort of thing. I do think this is kind of leftover remnants of, like I said, back in 2020 when this game first started developing. We can see the industry has kind of gone away from that, or at least gamers have rejected that. So the industry will probably shift away from it. But since it takes so long to develop a lot of these games, it's going to take many years for them to basically catch up with what audiences are demanding. All right, so just kind of shows her ship. I don't mind the look of this. I kind of like the look and tone of it, all things considered. It has kind of like that retro sci-fi look that you would see in Aliens and something like that. I mean, it's complete with like the CRT monitors, or at least they look like CRT monitors by the aesthetic. So what it is, I'm not going to go into too much detail. She's a bounty hunter. This person right here is her latest bounty, someone that she has a personal connection to. He's on this planet. The person on the screen is saying, don't go to this planet. No one has ever survived there. She just kind of nonchalantly like, okay, yeah, I'm fine with going there. I'm going to do it anyways. They're like, okay, fine, go there. You're probably not going to survive it.
I will find another agent. Okay.
Just kind of setting up the world.
There, you're the boss.
Claiming the bounty as hers. Like I said, someone that she has a personal connection with. In her quarters, there was newspaper clippings on the wall and pictures of her and that person. So that's why I'm saying that she has some type of connection. What it is, we don't know. They were just, her and that group was just called the Five Aces. So, okay, that person's wanted. She's going after him for whatever reason. This isn't complaints about the game. It's just saying what they're doing so far with it. I do like the music they have for it so far too. Like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are pretty good at composers. This I feel is a little cringe. It's kind of reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy, where like, oh, it's a sci-fi thing and it has contemporary music in it, or more identifiable pop music and stuff. So it feels like they're trying to do that when it comes to this by having a CD changer and she pops in music for flying around. I mean, I guess it's something that you would see people do, but still it's kind of cringe because it almost comes across as derivative. I guess that's not necessarily the worst thing. It's just kind of a gripe. All right, you see Porsche right there. There was more product placement at some point in this. There, oh, missed it. Yeah, the Adidas shoes. Again, this is kind of like the Porsche thing. I would think if 1986 feels like ancient times, I doubt that they would still use these type of products. I doubt Adidas will still be around or Porsche will still be around in that time frame. I mean, are we using brand products from thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago? Well, maybe some things have been around for, maybe there's some brands out there that are a couple hundred years old or something like that, but not any times that we'd consider ancient. So this feels like just kind of shameless. All right, so goes towards the planet from the studio that brought you Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Dexter, Uncharted, The Last of Us. So on the planet now, I know this looks like a completely different game, if I'm just being completely honest here. Okay, it's sci-fi, but I mean, it doesn't look like the same thing. Then the title, and that's pretty much it. Needless to say, I'm not really holding out much hope for this because there's elements I like, but a lot of the stuff that really draws me into games like this is the characters and story, and I'm just not super jazzed about it. The comment section on here seems to share my sentiment somewhat. The trailer's 2 hours ago. Ew, it's so old, we need a remaster. Okay, obviously just poking fun at Naughty Dog. I was joking that they're just going to announce a remaster of Last of Us for this or something like that. That's what their big announcement at the Game Awards was going to be. Sony forgot to disable the comments. Leave Last of Us Part 2 Lev from The Last of Us Part 2 has grown up and went to space. And that's a good one. You can really tell this started production in 2020. Yeah, like I was saying, it seems to be steeped in 2020 identity politics. This is not what I imagined Naughty Dog's next IP to look like at all. That could be good or bad. Never thought I'd see the day a Porsche spaceship. Can I play as the character from a background anime instead? Yes, from the same studio, but not the same people. That is an important takeaway from all this too, because they're talking about all the games that Naughty Dog has produced in the past. But I mean, if it's not the same people working on it, then it really doesn't matter. Yeah, Neil Druckmann's been there for a long time, but he wasn't the only one responsible for a lot of those games. He was working with other people on that. He has since ousted them in a hostile takeover, including women, even though he champions women and stuff like that in gaming. He has no problem ousting them if it helps his own career. And anything that he's been responsible for since then hasn't really been that good. And that's what I'm saying. I don't, at least going by this initial reaction to it from audiences, my initial reaction, this doesn't look like it's going to do very well. Normally, I would say if it's a major IP or from a major studio like this, if it's highly anticipated, then I could see it succeeding. But that's what I would have said several months ago. Since then, we've seen a number of major IPs like Dragon Age, The Veilguard, for instance. I thought that one was still going to be successful, even though it looked bad because it's from a major IP, from a huge studio. And it turned out that wasn't the case because gamers have shown that, no, we're going to reject this stuff if it's just steeped in identity politics. And so far, that has been working. Some studios are starting to understand that, and I think they're going to change course. Naughty Dog, they may understand it, they may not. The problem for them, though, is since they've been developing this for some time, this was pretty much the politics at the time and what they thought the gaming industry was going towards. But since the gaming industry, or at least fans, which is what I'm calling the gaming industry, has shifted to complete 180, well, then suddenly they're making something that no one is asking for and no one wants, and people are just outright rejecting. And if that's the case, then this game might just be a huge failure for them. And then we'll have to see what Naughty Dog's reaction to that is. Are they going to continue to double and triple down on this identity politics stuff because Neil Druckmann wants that? Or are they going to change course and give gamers what they want? I think some studios are going to continue to push this narrative because they're true believers. Other studios are going to give gamers what they want because ultimately they're a business and they want to do what gamers want. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But one thing I think for sure is if studios continue to just push their own narrative and their own agenda in lieu of what gamers want, then eventually they are going to go under and be bought out by someone else who is going to just give players what they want. So it's just a matter of how long that happens and what the reaction to this game failing or succeeding is going to be, because that's really going to tell what the future of Naughty Dog is at this point. But like I said, right now, I'm assuming that this game's probably not going to do too well because the initial reaction is negative. But maybe once we get more, and it's going to look a lot better. But I'm just not sold on it at this time. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.